season has come to an end. Pistons fall short in game 6, pretty much for the same reasons they fell short in game 1, 3, 4. Uh, this was a tough game to watch because you can almost see it happening again. And as always, in many of those other games, it gets to the end and you're like, we should be able to close this out. And then we don't. And you know what? There was a lot of sentiment on Twitter, or X, it's now called. There's a lot of sentiment around pointing blame and being frustrated or disappointed. But if I'm honest with you, this was a game that I'm okay with. I'm okay. I'm okay that we fell short. I'm okay that the season has come to an end because these are the lessons, these are the series, these are the games, these are the experiences that truly do propel teams, superstars into their destiny to win championships. These are the heartbreaks. And make no mistake about it, the Detroit Pistons should be proud of themselves. And they should also be heartbroken by how this series ended. They should be proud of themselves because they outperformed, I think, all of our expectations. All of our expectations. I mean, there was not a single person. I can't think of anyone who is quoted in saying and put money on, like, really, really held it down and was like, nah, this is a playoff year. Nobody saw that. I had them 32 to 35 wins. I'm marked down as saying that at the beginning of the season. I said if everything goes right, no injuries, knock on wood, all of it, this is a 32 to 35 win team. Now, of course, I was anticipating Philadelphia being healthy. I was anticipating Milwaukee being healthy. I was anticipating a lot of the teams that fell off. I didn't see the Jimmy Butler thing going down the way it did. There were a lot of other factors that when I looked at the landscape of the league at the beginning of the season, I said this is a 32 to 35 win season. Even I had teams like Charlotte playing better. You can't anticipate when LaMelo Ball is going to go down and tank their season. All that's to say is they came away with 45 wins. 45 wins, man. A 6th seed. Only games out of a 5th seed. Even less. 4th seed. 3rd seed. Like, if Jaden Ivey is healthy, I think we all know it's probably a number 3 seed. If Jaden Ivey is healthy this season, this team is probably walking through the Knicks, walking through the first round, despite not having experience. That's how talented they are. That's how talented they are. That's a Jalen Duren playing it safe. That's an Asar Thompson kind of all up and down, um, high highs, low lows, figuring it out. Cade Cunningham, first time on the big stage in the playoffs. That's with the bad shooting nights from our veteran guards, um, with the Isaiah Stewart injury even. I mean, if Isaiah Stewart is healthy too, we might be literally talking about an Eastern Conference Finals team. That's how talented this team is. And I keep trying to explain that to folks, that there's so much to be excited about when it comes to this team. There's so much to be uh, inspired about when it comes to this team. And at the same time, there was so much to be disappointed with in this series. So much to be excited about. Cade Cunningham's dominant performance in game 2, absolutely taking over the game. Like, a superstar can get you one game in the playoffs. A superstar can get you one game. After that, you have to have a team effort. You have to have a full team effort. You have to have complementary pieces. You have to have a great defense. You have to have so many other things in place. But a superstar. It doesn't matter what series of a playoff it is. There is one game a superstar can say, I got it, guys. I got it. I'm locked in. I'm feeling it. I got it. And everyone just rides their coattail. Got certain guys will step up in certain spaces, but for the most part, it's them. It's that one dude. And that was game 2 for Cade Cunningham. But as I've always said, that's not sustainable. That's never been a sustainable strategy for any winning team, let alone the Detroit Pistons. Cade Cunningham to me is best when he's off ball. Um, I don't think he's a full-time floor general. I don't think that that's who he is. But he is a high-level facilitator, shot maker, shot creator, extremely skilled with the ball. He was a vacuum. He was a vacuum in the best way. He was a dude that teams not only had to pay attention to, they had to center their entire defense around. You saw the Knicks, they had to throw the entire kitchen sink at Cade Cunningham to slow him down, and he still got to his numbers. He still put up dominant performances. He still was able to lead us into position to win every single game, whether he was having a good shooting night or not. That's how dominant he is. He's a superstar. And there's moments where you look at the 2 missed layups in the 4th quarter by Cade Cunningham on the left side. Shots that he normally makes with his eyes closed. He missed 2 of them, right? And so we can look at this season and recognize it was nothing but a success. It was nothing short of an amazing dream of a season. We could not have imagined or scripted a better season. Could not have. I don't think we would have ever foreseen this type of outcome. And yet we're also disappointed by the up and down shooting of our guards. And we're going to get to stuff like that later. I'm going to do some player evaluations because this channel is not going to stop because the season stopped. And we all know, the name of the channel is The Rock Never Stops, right? Ball keeps going year round. We got the draft coming up. We got the rest of the playoffs, NBA championship. Who's going to walk away with it? Minnesota's a dark horse for me. I said it at the beginning of the season that they were a dark horse for me, and they're looking more and more like that. But Oklahoma City, Denver is looking strong. Cleveland, Boston, um, they're all looking strong. And then we got the draft. We got pre-draft workouts that have already started. Draft content. I'm gonna be coming out with that. We got the off season. Guys need to be re-signed. Trades potentially. Um, Extensions given out. We got a whole off season that's gonna be dope. Summer league. Can't wait for summer league, bruh. Expect to see Jaden Ivey for maybe 1 or 2 games. He's gonna be itching just to play ball. Expect to see Asar Thompson and Ron Holland ball out in summer league. Expect to see Duran potentially. Uh, Hopefully, he has like an Evan Mobley type of a summer where he just focuses on getting buckets somewhere. Just go get buckets somewhere. Go to an open run and just unleash your full offensive arsenal. And really get comfortable with your offensive game because we expect big things from you. Um, we're gonna see guys like Marcus Sasser again in the summer league playing more of a facilitator role and seeing if he could balance being a great scorer, shot maker, while also facilitating. We're gonna see a whole lot of things. Tolu Smith, Bobby Clintman. We should have a great summer league team, a dominant summer league team. And so there's much to be excited about this offseason. All that's to say is it's still tough to see that loss. It's still tough to see that loss. Let me get to some of these comments. I got my man Zeps. What's good, my man? I don't think they should do anything roster wise during the offseason. We already got a superstar in Cade with a good crew behind him. He just got to improve his turnover rate and 3-point shooting. Yes and no, from my opinion. Yes and no. Yes, he's got a great crew around him. Yes, improving his turnover rate, which I think is going to happen, and his 3-point shooting, which is going to happen. I think he just lost his legs. He was tired. He was exhausted. And when your legs go, your shot goes. Plain and simple. Everything was in and out, back iron, just short, stuff like that. That's an indication of your legs. Um, so I'm not concerned about Cade's 3-point shooting. Ivy's return is going to be a godsend. It's going to be wonderful. Um, I think there's going to be a lot of dope things that we're going to see continue to progress. I think Isaiah Stewart plays some more power forward. this season. Jalen Duren's going to take a step. Ivy Asar, we saw what his potential looks like in Game 6, which I want to go back and I'm gonna do some more film breakdown of Game 6 and what I saw. He's got a great crew around him, and as we saw with the Sacramento Kings a few years back, you can't just stand pat. You can't. You can't just think, "Oh, okay, we're good enough, and we'll be good in the future." No matter how the season goes, Cleveland is going to be better next season. Evan Mobley is going to be that much better. Toronto is going to be crazy next season. Chicago is going to be better. Charlotte is going to be, well, Charlotte, but better when healthy. Orlando's going to be better, right? These teams around us, let alone in our division, Indiana's going to be better next season. So we can't just stand pat. With that said, and I'm gonna do videos on this later around the offseason acquisitions, who we're gonna try to retain, who we're gonna let go. I don't think we'll be able to afford Dennis Schroeder, nor do I think that his role will be as big as it was this year as a closer for us. I think that's going to be Ivy instead of a Schroeder. So contractually wise versus his role, I don't think that that's going to fit for Dennis Schroeder. Um, but I loved him on this team. I think we need to go out and get some two-way players. I think we let Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. go. We let them walk. Paul Reed, we let him walk. Thank you so much for your services. You were amazing. But I don't think that we bring those guys back because having one-trick ponies who play one side of the ball only, that's not an effective strategy, especially in the playoffs. That gets exposed. Uh, and with Ivy back, we don't need Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley to the degree that we use them this season. Like we literally played them like Reggie Miller. We literally were playing them like Reggie Miller. They were getting 15, 16 shots a game. I would dare for us to look at, Sports Reference, and those in the chat, feel free. I love the interactive chat. Go to Sports Reference, go to NBA.com, ESPN, check out their careers and how many shots per game they averaged. I don't think I don't think that the those two guys ever shot this much in their career. In their career. Appreciate that, Shane. I don't think either of them ever shot this much. In fact, I don't even think we expected them to shoot this season as well as they did. We just wanted to have shooting out there. Like, let's keep it a band. Let's keep it 100. Trajan Langdon brought those two in just so we could say we had shooting out there. So he didn't look like Troy Weaver and fall short of making sure he had shooting out there. Like I always said, Troy Weaver didn't do a bad job of putting shooting out there. It just didn't happen. Guys were hurt. Bogdanovich, Burks, Harris, guys like that were just always hurt. So we didn't have shooting. Monty Morris was hurt. We didn't have shooting. The greatest ability is availability. If the people you bring in to play a role ain't healthy, can't play, can't get on the court, and they had horrific health, like as a team back then, which was needs to be said. But I've said that in previous videos, so I digress. Those two guys should not be high priority players to resign. I really don't think anybody on this team is a high priority player to resign. I have guys like Malcolm Brogdon, I would prefer, Jabari Walker. These are all unrestricted free agents. Bruce Brown, veterans who've been in the playoffs, deep playoff runs, who have versatile skill sets to play both sides of the ball, can shoot the three ball, but also do playmaking, facilitating. They're veterans with some leadership. They bring some toughness, some physicality. We saw in the series, we got out physical. We got out physical against the Knicks. We got pushed around. We got moved around. We got we got young boy. We got young boy playing against some unks Like that's what this series was for real. We was out there playing the Knicks like a bunch of middle schoolers and high schoolers playing against, a college team in terms of like physical strength, not talent, but physical strength. We got moved around. Duran was getting moved around. He kept looking for the ref to save him. The ref ain't gonna save you. What I say? Quincy Jones ain't gonna save you. Boondock shout out. Right? The refs ain't gonna save you. You have to learn how to be physical in the playoffs. And that's a learned trait. I would love for us to bring in somebody like PJ Tucker, just as a veteran to have on the bench. Right? Talk to our guys. Right? A Marcus Morris, right? Break glass in case of emergency type of veterans. Teach these guys how to be physical. Teach these guys. Bring in the Tristan Thompson. I don't care. Bring in somebody uh, who can lay that hat and just be like, nah, man, forget you. Um, let me get to some of these other comments. So all that's to say is, no, we can't just stand pat. Um, we do have to bring in some veterans. We have to bring in the right veterans. We have to bring in the correct veterans. We have to bring in guys who can insulate this current roster while allowing them to still grow. And so that's who I'm looking forward to this team getting. Some more size on the wings. If you're not going to have great height and size on the perimeter, you have to bring in size on the wings. Sorry, if you don't have great size on the interior, you have to have great size on the perimeter. And so I want to see us get bigger guys than Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Dennis Schroeder, who are all 6'4", 6'3", and 6'2". Right. Next season, Marcus Sasser should be the shortest guy on this roster. Move Ron Holland to the 2 off the bench. Right. Appreciate the likes, y'all. Continue to smash that like button for me. Let me get to some of these comments. Uh, agree. Beasley got to go. Chiefy Holiday. Uh, I don't expect P. Reed to be back. I don't either. Maybe Hardaway gone. Fontecchio is moved. So what additions or replacements can you see? And I got into that a little bit. I expect Fontecchio to be back because I don't think that he has high value right now. Wasn't able to be a part of the rotation. He just wasn't. He had a horrible shooting season. If anything, he becomes a contract to throw in. If someone like Jabari Smith Jr. were to become available, I could see Tobias Harris, Fontecchio trade. But I like Harris. I love Harris for this team. Tobias Harris has been incredible for this team. So I would not be quick to move away from him. His veteran leadership is, it cannot be understated how valuable Tobias Harris has been to this team all year. All year. He has been absolutely integral to this team. I hope they're doing a team dinner. I hope they're going old school. Team dinner tonight. Pistons with just the players, maybe players' wives and family. Hope they rent out like a ballroom somewhere and give each other internal awards and appreciations and acknowledgments of what this season has been. Because some of these guys are not going to be on the roster next year. I rather would have had Tolu Smith. Um, I would rather have Tolu Smith next year, who's 6'10", 6'11", 260 pounds, big boy, throw his weight around. Let him grow into that third string center role, second, second big off the bench when guys are in foul trouble or if there's an injury, knock on wood, right? Um, that's what I would rather see next year because Paul Reed was just too damn small. He was too small. It's okay to have a Paul Reed when he's playing behind a Joel Embiid. It's okay to have a Paul Reed when he's playing behind a really big dominant center, maybe even a third big in like a Cleveland type of situation. Not good behind Jalen Duren, right? And Isaiah Stewart, that was okay when we had Stu. No Stu, no P. Reed. So I don't think he's going to be back either. Um, let me see. Uh, Shane, what's good, man? Timmy has to go. Yeah, I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I think he's gonna get picked up somewhere. Veteran minimal deal. Um, he had a great season for us. He had a great season. He showed up in spurts in the playoffs, in moments. But you could see that he was out of his league. He was out of his not out of his league, like he had no business being there. He was out of his scope of what he is as a player in the playoffs. He should not be starting in the playoffs for any playoff team. That's not who he is. Neither should Malik Beasley. Those are not heavy minutes guys. Those are stint minute guys in the right situations in the playoffs. So I think he's gonna be gone too. Um, yeah, and I wouldn't be shocked if the Pistons do something around like a sign and trade, bring in another veteran who can, continue to buoy this group while they go forward. Um, I would love that. I would love that. You know. Let me see what else we got here. Uh, Ghost Keeper, JB's coaching concerns me. Not yet. Not yet. We don't always like. I used to coach basketball for a long time professionally, and meaning I got paid to coach. I got paid to coach for a long time. It was high school, college, travel teams. I've been a paid coach for a long time. Um, and one of the things that you recognize is that there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than many times we always recognize. And I appreciate all the likes. Appreciate that. Continue to smash the like button for me. Definitely helps the channel. Uh, there are many things that fans and the common onlooker do not understand of what may be taking place. You're factoring in things like chemistry of players on the court. You're factoring in uh, potential injuries, things that people are not talking about that you notice that you talk about with a player behind closed doors and they say, but I'm still good to go. There are factors such as when a player's confidence begins to wane, at what point, you know who is built for certain moments and who's not. You know who you're trying to focus on. You know who's more of the core and who you're trying to develop. Potentially in the NBA situation who your front office is telling you to play. Right? Yeah, Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. are too one-dimensional. Completely true. And at the same time, the decisions you make as a coach is not always just about you. Especially when you get to the NBA, you might have an owner who's like sending you a text like, man, so and so needs to get some minutes. And you're like, shit. The guy that cuts your check. Right? Like we don't think about those things. We just see strategy in real time and the results of it. And so I don't think JB's coaching is a concern yet to me. As long as they continue to make progress in the right direction, you begin to see the team build. That's all I would ask for. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. Um, I don't. There are no perfect coaches. Like outside of Tyronn Lue and Eric Spoelstra, maybe it's probably the closest thing you have in the NBA to a perfect coach. To cream of the crop, best coaches, right? All coaches got flaws. How many coach of the year winners lose their job the very next year because somebody doesn't like what's going on? Some ownership group or, front office exec is like, yeah, I don't like, such and such. It's like there are no perfect coaches, bro. You have to get a coach knowing who he is and what he does, and then you have to make sure that you get in assistants to complement them. I think he needs a better assistant coaching staff than Luke Walton at the helm. I think he needs to move Luke Walton out, and he needs to go get another number two guy. I like Sam Cassell, other guys. See if you can get one of these coaches that recently lost their job, the one from Memphis, right? Go get the dude from Sacramento, right? Mike Brown, right? Go get those guys to be your lead assistant. Um, Bring them in. Pay those dudes like, hey, we need you to help develop these guys. We need you to bring your know-how. You know what I mean? Um, I would love that. I would love that. I think that would enhance JB's coaching all the more because he's a great coach. He's a great coach. Does so many things well. He's just not everything, and so I want to see him continue to grow. We get to some of these other comments. Um, Chiefy Holiday was good, my man. Bobby Portis, Patrick Beverly, maybe. Uh, I don't see Milwaukee letting Bobby Portis go. Um, I like Bobby, but I think he's a little bit too old for this roster. He's in his prime. I would rather us go out and get, like I said, Jabari Walker, who's like a poor man's Bobby Portis. He's never going to score to that degree, but he does a lot of other things extremely well on the defensive end. Great effort guy, physical guy, and he's going to be a lot cheaper. Um, Patrick Beverly, I love his energy, but when I look at Marcus Sasser, Patrick Beverly backcourt, and I don't want them to continue to do Marcus Sasser wrong by bringing in somebody who's just going to take his minutes. That's not cool to do, and I think he has the potential to be what we need him to be. Um, I did like someone else's comment here who said Marcus Smart. Zeps, what's good, Zeps? Marcus Smart would be good. I would love for them to trade for Marcus Smart. Take on that contract. I think it's only like what, one more year on that contract. Let me go grab my phone real quick so I can check those things. Somebody let me know in the comment section how many more years is on Marcus Smart's contract, because I think that could be great. That could be a great contract for them to do a little sign and trade for, um, to bring him in. Somebody in the comment section, let me know. I'm gonna try to look it up too. But Marcus Smart would be an excellent addition. He's 6'5", physical. He's been deep in the plays. He's been in the NBA Finals. Um, Let me see what team was he was on. Washington last. Even though I think Washington can definitely use him as well, I don't think they'll easily give him up. He's got one more year at 21 million. That's a perfect contract. That's a perfect contract. Yo, that is a perfect contract for a developing team at 31 years old. Now, I also said Malcolm Brogdon, who is a unrestricted free agent. He might be somebody to bring in for like 18 mil for 1 year with a team option for the second, right? 15 million, 16 million. Like that's the type of contract that maintains roster flexibility, gives you a trade asset if you need it, but is also the type of guy who can mentor. But Marcus Smart, he's a competitor. He knows all the tricks of the trade. He knows all the tricks in the book. I'm looking at it here. Um, he's also 31 years old. He has a lot of miles on him, which means that he's a guy who can start in a pinch. He can close in a pinch. He can be a great asset in a playoff run. He's the type of guy in the playoffs that you love to bring off the bench, just like Dennis Schroeder was for us. Big shot maker. He's not scared of the moment. He knows what to do in big moments. That's big too. Someone who knows what to do in these moments. You can trust him as a coach. So I think that would be a great contract to do a little sign and trade thing. See if you could bring him in there. Let me see. Uh, Shane, Beasley, Timmy gotta go. Yep, yep. Brian Miles, curious, would playing Sasser have been better than playing Hardaway or Beasley? Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. The moment Dennis Schroeder arrived, Marcus Sasser's minutes were going to get cut. Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley were playing too well to bench them. And they're also in their contract year as veterans. You don't really do that to a veteran, especially when you've been a franchise that struggled to bring in quality veterans to want to play there. You don't want to do them like that. Marcus Sasser, he's the rookie on the block. Even though he's in his second year, he's the young guy. He's not going to get the same preferential treatment. Though I think he deserved more opportunities, but when he did get opportunities, he showed us what he can do. I think this year for sure the Pistons need to clear space for him. He is our de facto point guard off the bench. Let him run between Cade and Ivy. I like Marcus Smart. I like Malcolm Brogdon. Let them be that second guard off the bench. Let them. I want to see Sasser with 15 plus minutes a game off the bench, um, because I think he has it. I think once he figures out the balance of facilitating versus shot creation and shooting, he's going to be a dynamic player to be off the bench because I don't think he gets scared of big moments. I think he's a big shot maker. I think he could be a microwave scorer off the bench, spark plug. He's the type of guy that in a playoff game, I think if he was playing in this series, if just forecasting, projecting, he would have had a big game for us at least once, if not twice, off the bench, where he just comes in and he just hits shots. He's a competitor. He can be a point of attack defender. He can do a Deuce McBride type of a job out there. I think he is that level of a reserve point guard, backup guard. Um, What's good, Tony Headhunters? Always good to see you, my man. Marcus Smart also has defense, that juice. He does. He does. He does. And I think he could be a good second guard off the bench. But he's not a long term guy for us. I think he's a good contract to maybe trade for, maybe do a sign and trade, Tim Hardaway Jr. or Malik Beasley, and go get Marcus Smart. And he can mentor the guys. He plays physical, tough basketball. He can teach us tricks of the trade, stuff like that. Great for the playoffs. Malcolm Brogdon too. So these are the type of options that I see us going after. Uh, Let me see. Appreciate letting me know. Chiefy Holiday in the comments. Shane Gretzky. Would you trade for Giannis? We both have a mutual enemy in the Pacers. We do. No, I would not trade for Giannis. And I don't think Giannis is leaving Milwaukee for Detroit. I don't think any franchise will trade their superstar, one of their greatest players of all time, for their franchise behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was Lou Alcindor back then, and Oscar Robinson. I don't think that they would ever trade him to a divisional rival team. You have to see him 4 to 6 times a year, being reminded what you're missing. Hell no. If he goes somewhere, he's going to the Western Conference. If he goes somewhere, he's going to the Western Conference. And from there, they're gonna get a bunch of assets, but it's not going to Detroit. Nor should Detroit empty out the kitchen sink to bring him in. I wouldn't do it. Let me see. Um, yep. Might have to let Sasser spread his wings. What? As else, unfortunately. Or you mean elsewhere, maybe, unfortunately. I think so too. I think so too. I just don't think he's on the timeline for this team. He would have to have a huge year next season to be seen as okay, deep playoff run. Marcus Sasser is our guy, but I think he's worth finding out next year. I think he's worth finding out next year if he could be that guy, if he can have a great offseason. Because I think that's something that he messed up, and it's hard to say he messed up. It just is what it is. Marcus Sasser did not have a great summer league last year. He did not win outright that backup reserve point guard position last offseason, last training camp. He did not come in and was like, forget everybody. I'm the man. I may not be the starting guard, but ain't nobody better than me coming in off the bench. And I'm here to prove that every single moment of this training camp. Because he didn't do that, he left the door open for people to take his minutes. And that was Malik Beasley and eventually Tim Hardaway Jr. They took his minutes. And then eventually when they brought in uh, Dennis Schroeder, it was, murder she wrote. Yeah, Sasser should have dominated camp. I think Marcus Sasser has to go into this offseason thinking dominance. He should be at all the open runs, dominating. He should be not just because I don't think at this point it's not about him working on his game anymore. He's got game. There's not a skill I would say he doesn't have. I think he makes really good reads as a guard off the bench. I've seen him with the one-handed, across his body opposite corner pass. Like he has that in his bag. He can make any type of shot. Right now is just you have to step into that. I'm an NBA player. I'm an NBA, I can be Peyton Pritchard type of thing. Like that's the energy he has to have. And if he doesn't this offseason, he's likely gonna be gone because the Pistons are taking off. I kept saying this was the last developmental year. This was the last developmental year. Next season is not about development. Bobby Clement will have to prove he is a part of the future of the team. Even Ron Holland. Ron Holland cannot take a step back. If he takes a step back, he will likely be included in a trade package to develop elsewhere. Chiefy Holiday, what do you think it would take to get Jabari Smith here? Do you think Houston would move him? If so, is it a numbers thing or them? Let's be clear that Houston knows how valuable Jabari Smith Jr. is, and so does the rest of the league. He will not come cheap. Expect if we were to get a Jabari Smith Jr., which I would be happy about, it would probably cost us. It depends on how we get him. If he is not extended this offseason, or even if he is, Frankie Blanco, what's good, brother? What's good, man? It's good to see you. It would for the Detroit Pistons to get Jabari Smith Jr. Let me answer this question directly. It would take a bunch of first round picks. We would have to give up first round picks. And I would not be mad at that. I'm not a big proponent of playoff level teams holding on to first round picks. Once you're in the playoffs, let them go. For the right guy, let them go. Let them go. For a veteran who you're only going to get 1 year out of, I wouldn't. But a young guy who could be a part of your future core, yes. So if they can trade, let's say, a contract of Simone Fontecchio and maybe 2 first round draft picks, maybe a 1 or 2 other contracts to make the money work, hopefully hanging on to Tobias Harris, that would be one of the great moves, all-time great front office moves that really propels a team. That would be incredible. That would be incredible. Like if Jabari Smith Jr. were to get extended for about close to 20 million a year, and then you trade for him, giving up Fontecchio's contract. And let me just look real quick to see what his contract situation is like because I've long stated I think he would be a perfect fit for us alongside of Jalen Durant. Jabari Smith Jr. is getting paid 9 million and then 12 million next year. After that, he would be extended. I'll put it this way: I don't think Jabari Smith Jr. goes down in value. It is very possible he's able to outplay his contract, and he's going to look like a $25 million player by the end of next season. So they should trade for him soon. But considering what he's getting paid even next season, the 12 million, the Detroit Pistons could foreseeably, potentially, let me just pull this up. Simone Fontecchio is getting paid 7 million this year, 8 million next year. So they would be able to absorb the other 4 million. So I wouldn't be shocked if they were able to make that work, but they would give up probably 2 first round draft picks. And I would be okay. I would be totally okay with that. Totally okay with that. Move Tobias Harris to the bench. Tell Bobby Clement you're going to play the 3 off the bench. Have Ron Holland play the 2 off the bench and Marcus Sasser play the 1. And then go out and get a Malcolm Brogdon type of a reserve point guard. Maybe, a veteran point guard who could be that third string guy or potentially second string if Marcus Sasser can't outright win that position. If he can't prove he's Peyton Pritchard, I believe he is. Don't worry, I'm going to do videos on this stuff later, breaking down player analysis as we go into the offseason and recapping the season that they had. But it's to say, if Marcus Sasser cannot prove he's Peyton Pritchard, and I think that's a great comparison in terms of shot making, shooting range, ability to lead a second unit, and be a 6 man of the year candidate. If he can't prove to be that this offseason, coming into training camp, we bring in a reserve guard to be just that. To be just that. Let me get to some of these other comments. Appreciate the comments, y'all. Definitely smash the like button for me. I appreciate that as well. Uh, Tony Headhunter. That's where Sam Cassell, as an assistant coach, would help this team with our guards. That mindset. I completely agree. I completely agree. I think uh, Sam Cassell as an assistant coach would be a huge upgrade over Luke Walton, who I don't know how much respect Luke Walton has around the league as a coach. I just don't. It was probably slim pickings for JB Bickerstaff to come to a 14-win Detroit Pistons team to really solidify his bench. He did a phenomenal job. Bring in Jared Jack, bring in the coaches that he was able to, uh, was great. It allowed them to have the season that they did. And I would love to see them go out and get Mike Brown, go out and get the dude who just got fired in Memphis, go out and bring in the dude who got let go in Phoenix, even a Budenholzer, bring in some veteran coaches behind you who can uh, play specific roles, to allow you that much more success and continue the success of this team. Um, Let me see, Zeps. How about Kevin Porter Jr. as a backup point guard? No. He did decent in the Bucks on the Bucks when Dame went down. What about Gary Trent Jr.? I think Gary is a streaky shooter. I like Beasley though, so I don't know. Those are great thoughts. Kevin Porter Jr. I think he sticks around in Milwaukee. I think he's perfect alongside of a Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's a great talent. Make no mistake about it. Kevin Porter Jr. is talent. Talent. Talent is Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley level. He has superstar talent. He does not have superstar uh, maturity and leadership and game situation IQ. For Milwaukee, I might bring I like Rollins off the bench as well, but I think they bring in another veteran guard. Wouldn't be shocked if it was like a Marcus Smart type, but I don't think they want to let go of Kevin Porter Jr., especially looking at a full season with Damian Lillard out. If Kevin Porter Jr. can build upon what he was able to do in the second half of this season and have a great year consistently doing what he did at the second half of the regular season, I think that would do wonders for that franchise, especially considering there's going to be major changes there this year to make sure that they keep Giannis happy, they continue to compete. So I don't think Kevin Porter Jr. Gary Trent Jr. I like him. I like him a lot, but he's going to have a different role. I don't think he's going to be the guy. I think he's going to be close to a starting level shooting guard for somebody next year, and that's not a role that we have available on this team. Um, and then Beasley, if we could bring him back for cheap, but I think I would rather have Marcus Sasser, who's a better defender, better facilitator, playmaker, does a better job of creating his own shot. He gives you a lot more at that position off the bench than Malik Beasley does or would. So no, I probably wouldn't bring back Beasley either, unless he's veteran minimum with a much reduced role. Let me see. Uh, Frankie Blanco. And definitely I appreciate all the likes. Continue to smash the like button for me. Definitely helps out the channel. Frankie Blanco, y'all played us tough. But like I said, Jalen was and would have always been the best player in that series. I'll say this. Jalen Brunson redeemed himself with me. He stopped the foul baiting. He stopped it. I appreciate everybody who shamed him into it. The coaches who talked to him about it, the family members who called him, because that's not good basketball. I don't like that as a basketball player, as a competitor, and I don't think that that's who Jalen Brunson is. I think he got caught up in the moment. He got caught up in being in his head. And I think it took his team out of the game, and we saw that shift after game two. After game two, Jalen Brunson stopped foul baiting altogether. You saw little moments where you're like, "Ah, come on, that's flop." But for the most part, he cut it out, and that was to the betterment of his team. I actually got to hop off this in a little bit. It's been 45 minutes. But I think that Jalen Brunson was the best player. in this series. He just was. And I'll give him that props. He led his team to a win, to winning this first round. He led them to winning this first round. And in the closeout game, game 6, he closed us out. Karl Anthony Towns had a bad game. Jalen Brunson closed out the Pistons. So I got to give him props. I have to respect his game. There's much that Cade Cunningham can learn from Jalen Brunson. Not about the foul baiting, but how to get to the free throw line for sure. How to lead your team. How to make the right plays in the right situation. What it looked like. There's a lot that can be learned from a point guard like Jalen Brunson, who has been a winner his whole career, from high school, winning state championships, college at Villanova, winning national championship. I think they won 2 in Villanova while he was there, and now with the Knicks. He is a leader. He's a winner. And I'm glad that he stepped his game up to stop foul baiting. Cade has a future, but let's pump the brakes. We all know names are made in the postseason. Well, let's also put your foot on the gas. Cade Cunningham showed he could be the best player on the court. It was a veteran know-how situation that allowed Brunson to outplay Cade, not talent. Talent-wise, Cade Cunningham is far better than Jalen Brunson. And by the end of next season, I fully expect Cade Cunningham is going to start getting into MVP conversations, first team All NBA, and he will be the best guard in the Eastern Conference by next season. So also peep game too. Um, Beasley, I'm sorry, but he choked for you. He did, and apparently, according to other Milwaukee Bucks fans, that should not have been surprising. Dude was talking all that smack to put up donuts at crunch time. I'm sorry, but I'm glad to see Malik. I mean, I'll say this: I'm not happy to see someone struggle. I'm sure he learned. He continues to grow. He is an NBA player. He had a phenomenal season. And at the same time, Frankie Blanco, what did you expect him to do? Not talk smack, not say something back to the New York crowd. I like players who are built like that, who believe in themselves, even if they're having a rough game, and who could come back. He is a great NBA shooter. He's one of the best shooters in the NBA. That means you're one of the best shooters in the world. He's a great shooter. You guys would be lucky to have him to improve your shooting off the bench. Sports Times, can you explain what they meant when they said we shouldn't went 2 for 1 at the end of the game? Yeah, 2 for 1 is looking at the shot clock versus the game clock. Usually there's a small gap window between your shot clock uh, and when you can get off a shot. Usually there's like 30 something seconds left in the game. Let me see how to explain this. A 2 for 1 is essentially you're trying to get 2 possessions out of a limited amount of time left uh, at the end of a quarter or end of a game. And so to get those 2 possessions, you generally get up a quick shot so that even if the other team runs out the full clock on their possession, you still have leftover time to have another offensive possession. So they were essentially saying we should have went for a shot earlier in our shot clock so that the ball could go back to the Knicks and we can have more time. But at the end of the day, we had time. So I would not be complaining about that. If Malik Beasley catches that ball, he has a wide open three, wide open, right? He was the wrong guy in that moment. We should have had, um, what's his name? Shoot, why am I forgetting his name? Jaden Ivey. That was a Jaden Ivey moment. That's our upgrade. So I'm not worried about that in the future. I'll get to the last comments and I got to hop off. So I'm going to read them all at once. Frankie Blanco, I appreciate the love in the chat. Definitely smash the like button, y'all. Um, they were assuming for a second it would be tough to let it go. Yeah, that's, is here nor there. Water under the bridge. There's an element of NBA offense having a bit of selling certain motions to get a foul call sent to the beneficiary. No, but Jalen Brunson was clearly foul baiting in the first 2 games of this season. Clearly, clearly, it was not close. He was literally playing the game to get foul calls, flopping to get foul calls. That's because Asar was in that ass. Let me be clear about it. Asar Thompson was in that ass. He made life hard for Jalen Brunson. By next season, when Asar Thompson starts getting that respect as a defender, that flopping will not be permitted by referees. They're going to know, oh, he's just that good of a defender. You just can't get around him. Matter of fact, if Asar had been playing all season and not been dealing with the blood clots, he would have already had that respect like his brother Amin Thompson does. And he would have gotten away with that. So let's be clear about that. Jalen Brunson was flopping. Asar Thompson was getting in that ass. And by next season, that will not be the situation. I would love for them to run it back next season in the playoffs. Ricky Blanco, Cade being the best guard, I mean, it remains to be seen. He does have the makeup. He's got the makeup. He's got the talent. He's got the size. He's got everything you could want. He's probably one of the more talented guards in this league. He's Luka with defense. He's a leader. He steps up in big moments. Once his 3-point ball, and I think it will. I think his 3-point shot will get, especially with Ivy coming back and the other guys' growth. Expect him to get to close to a 40% from three. Guy Beasley is 1-0 this league. Come on now, hey, talk your shit. If you would do that, talk shit, talk shit. Um, Tobias was not the wrong guy. You just haven't been watching the Pistons. Tobias has been great for this team all year long, and especially in the playoffs. One of our more consistent performers. Uh, Truth, Jaden percentage at threes were better than Timmy. Facts, but he's also a big shot maker, and he has the athleticism and the game that forces defenders to respect him at a high level. In other words, people can't get away with playing him the way that they were able to play Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley and running them off the 3-point line. You can't run Jaden Ivey off the 3-point line because if you do one dribble and he's dunking on your entire team, that type of a threat to get downhill and finish, with which Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. never had, allowed the Knicks to overplay the 3-point line, to send Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby and Josh Hart hard at them to force them to put the ball on the floor. You don't want Jaden Ivey to put the ball on the floor. Let's be clear about that. Jaden Ivey on this team, they walk through the Knicks. They walk through the Knicks. The numbers don't lie. I don't know what you mean by the numbers don't lie, bro. The numbers don't lie that Cade is better than Brunson. Brunson outplayed him, but as a talent, Cade is better than Brunson. Remember, he walked into New York multiple times and outplayed Brunson throughout the regular season. So let's be clear about that. And he's only in year 4, really his third year, because he was out his second year with an injury. So let's be clear, he's going to be that much better next year. Shane told Brad, stay off the X. He is to Ant, and he beat his record. He barked at Harden. Yeah, said he ain't worried about Cat, and Cat blanked out. Game 3, all that talk, bro. One trick pony. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. I'm not a huge Cat fan. Cat is talented. I don't think he's a winner. I don't think he's a leader. He's not a leader of men. He's not somebody you really want in the trenches. Um, Expect Cat to get exposed against the Celtics. I think they're going to headhunt him. It's going to be ugly, but it is what it is. Now you run this team back next year, another year of experience, another year off season to develop. This series told the NBA that the Pistons are here. Facts. Asar wasn't used enough. Yes and no. Asar didn't always make himself available. At the same time, we all wanted him to play more. I definitely did as well. Excited for Cade next season. Me too. Damn, I'm trying to hop off. Y'all jumping into. I love this though. Let me try to get to the rest of these comments. Definitely smash the like button for me because I'm definitely trying to get to your comments. Frankie Blanco, Piss fan. Yeah, you do that. You'll lose more games next year because now Cat is out the bag. They will adjust to you now. No, the league is not going to adjust to the Pistons. You know why? Because they never got a chance to see the full Pistons. By the time Asar Thompson started being able to play, Jaden Ivey gets hurt. The league has not seen a starting lineup of Cade, Ivey, and Asar Thompson. They have no idea what's coming for them next year. Have no idea. No idea. Let me be 100. They have no idea what's coming for them next year. The Pistons are going to rip the head off the league next year. Let me say that with all the smoke in the world. Frankie Blanco, put on your seatbelt. Make sure your Your seatbelt is fastened, and your seat is all the way up for full support for takeoff. The Pistons are about to get in that ass next year. Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, Cade Cunningham. Can't do shit with him. Ray Floyd. Schroeder's is the perfect backcourt. Having him and Sasser off the bench could work, but really it doesn't. They're too small collectively. I want to get bigger on the perimeter. I want to get a bigger guard. I love what he did for us, but Schroeder won't have that role next season. If they're healthy between Cade and Ivy. I would rather go get a veteran, bigger guard who's more versatile physically. But all love for Schroeder. I also think Schroeder's going to get signed by somebody like the Miami Heat, a team that needs a starting level point guard, even if he's not an all-star. Other teams might look at him like the Milwaukee Bucks. And he's also the type of player who wants a starting role. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's brought in to be a starter someplace else or to get major minutes like he was able to in Detroit this year that he won't have next year. Ivy's speed would smoke the Knicks. Facts. His ability to get downhill to the rim would have been, oh, I'm going to get into that later. Frankie Asar was supposedly shutting down Brunson, but Brunson dropped 30 multiple. Bro, look at the actual metrics. Like you have to, come on now, Frankie, be honest. When Asar was on Brunson, it was ugly for Brunson. It was ugly. When did Brunson usually get off? When he had a mismatch, when he had Malik Beasley, when he had Tim Hardaway Jr. That's when he got off. When he had Asar on him, it was ugly. Ugly. Sports Times, how often will you be going live since the offseason now? Probably at least a few times a week, bro. I prefer to go live than doing a video and doing pictures and all that shit. I'd rather just do this, bro. I'm gonna be doing lives regularly. I'm gonna get into season grades for each of the players. I'm gonna get into this draft. I'm gonna get into next season outlook. I'm gonna get into who we actually end up drafting. I'm gonna get into the front office moves. What are the needs in the with the coaching staff? What's Summer League going to look like? That's going to be big for us with Tolu Smith and Bobby Klintman and Asar and Ron Holland and Marcus Sasser. I'm going to be getting into so much, bro. I'm going to be going live at least a couple times a week. Facts. Appreciate you asking, though. Continue to smash the like button for me before I hop off. Frankie Blanco, I don't get it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. Are you a Knicks fan? I get it. You don't get it because you ain't with us. If you've been watching all year, you would get it. Chiefy Holiday, Cade is that guy, no question. The New York starting lineup just had a little more talent. Facts. Put Ivy out there with an upgraded Asar. It's over. I keep saying we had Ivy this series. We walked through the Knicks. Asar played limited minutes and barely in the fourth quarter. Facts. They never saw us at our highest potential. People forget about Ivy, and he will remind them next season. Facts. Because Ivy is already in the lab right now. Right now. He's got to spend, because usually for the next month and a half, most players are taking off to rest, which they should be doing when you finish the season. He's already had his rest. Jaden Ivey is about to be in the lab for the rest of May, for the entire month, June, then probably do one or two summer league games. He'll probably do a bunch of open runs, and he's going to go into training camp and be a monster. And he's going to have a monster year. I expect somewhere around 23, 4-4 on good efficiency. And at times he's going to look like our best player at times. And he's going to solidify himself as an all-star level player. Even if he doesn't get in, he'll be an all-star level player. And I think he's going to be the clear 1B next to Cade. Shucks, I gotta hop off, y'all. Hey, man, I appreciate this. I'm gonna do more lives. Definitely gonna do more lives. There's so much to talk about. I love and appreciate y'all. It's been an incredible season. Go Pistons. It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. If you enjoyed this live, smash that like button, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. And I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.